It's just a little bit of extra customer service, because you know what, if you had somebody, I always use this example, we'll say Mary Jane had this event she had to go to, maybe it was a fancy event, and she went into a store, and somebody greeted her and said, can I help you, what are you looking for? And she said, oh, well, I'm looking for this dress, and it's really an important occasion, and they looked at her and said, okay, I think, let's try these dresses on, because this would fit your body style, you would look marvelous in it. So she goes in, she tries it, she finds one she really likes. So they wrote down when the event was. So let's say it was 3 weeks later, they called her and they said, hi Mary Jane, this is so-and-so from wherever the store was. We were just checking on how you were happy with that dress. Would she be offended that they called to check on that?
No.
She would probably be tickled that they remembered what she had gone in there for and what they had helped her with and just wanted to make sure everything had gone well. It's the same thing with our products. We want them to get into their hands. We want them to use them. If they purchase them and they never use them, has it done them any good? No. Are they going to tell anybody about it in a positive way? They'll say, oh, I got that. It's been sitting on the shelf for, however long. But if they have a product and they love that product, they're going to share that with other people. So your goal is to make sure that they're happy with it. Like if Mike came up to me and he said, if you were to tell me what first piece of Pampered Chef I should buy is, the product I would tell Mike would be different than it would be Mary Jane.
Right.
People say, oh, you should try to sell them the most expensive thing. You should try to sell them what they're going to use every day. Because Mike will come back to me if he got a product and he loves it. Danette will come back to me and tell other people, oh my gosh, Heather has this, whatever it is. And that's what we have to think about when we make the customer care calls. But make it personal. Don't try to shy away from them. Let them talk. If they don't have time to talk, tell them you're only going to keep them just a minute. Just want to make sure their products are working well. Anything that you can do for them. And that's how I do it. So it has anytime my bookings and stuff get kind of down where I kind of need to pick it up, do excess. People say, oh, I only call the people that spend $100. If you spend $5 and you spend $100, I treat you the same. It doesn't matter if you spent $5 and you spent $100, because you know what? If you're happy with your product, you may buy something from me later, or you may tell somebody that's getting married, or whatever it is. Our goal is to equip kitchens and to help people, and I mean that's what it's about. So remember that when you're calling, don't be, oh, I don't want to call that person or whatever, because you know what, even if they were a difficult person at the show, and you call them, and you don't ask them, now are you ready to have a show, whatever, you're just calling for their product, and then you let that go. Now some of you may have heard this, and I know I'm keeping it short because I know we're kind of going over, but I remember this was something, and my son actually works at a supermarket. I tried to get him to do this, and he didn't want to, but he has done very well, and people have, they'll go through his line, and he's very pleasant, and he's had very good things said about him, and when they give surveys, when they get a good survey, like he's done a good job, and people take that survey, he gets rewarded at work. And he told me one of the things, because I've always pressed upon him, customer service, our world lacks customer service. And he said, you know what, Mom? He said, my boss comes up to me and he goes, Brendan, you are the only person that consistently gets surveys that are turned in. And I said, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Because he gives a customer service.
I was to say, he gives good customer service.
Because he cares about the people, or if somebody asks him something, he'll answer them, or whatever it is. So that's important. But what I wanted to reach you, this will be really quick, but it just kind of gets us thinking. A few years ago, I was hired at a large supermarket chain to lead a customer service program to build customer loyalty. During my speech, I said, every one of you can make a difference. You can create memories for your customers that will motivate them to come back. How? Put your personal signature on the job. And aren't we all different? Everyone in this room does their shows different, but we all can make a difference, right? We all have a signature that makes us stand out. Think about something you can do for your customer to make them feel special, a memory that will make them come back. About a month after I had spoken, I received a phone call from a 19-year-old bagger named Johnny. He proudly informed me he was a Down syndrome individual, and he told me his story. Now you think of someone with Down syndrome, that you think he wouldn't connect with people. You know, they kind of stand a little bit, because people sometimes can be mean to him. He said, I like what you talked about, he said, but at first I didn't think I could do anything special for our customers. After all, I'm just a bagger. Then I had an idea, Johnny said. Every night after work, I'd come home and I'd find a thought for the day. If I can't find find a saying I like, he added, I just think one up. When Johnny had a good thought for the day, his dad helped him set it up on the computer and print multiple copies. Johnny cut out each quote and signed the back. Then he'd bring them to work the next day. When I finished bagging someone's groceries, I put my thought for the day in their bag and say, thanks for shopping with us. It touched me to think that this young man with the job most people would say is not important had made it important by creating precious memories for all of his customers. A month later, the store manager called me. You won't believe what happened. When I was making my rounds today, I found Johnny's checkout line was 3 times longer than anyone else's. It went all the way down the frozen food aisle. So I quickly announced, we need more cashiers, get more lanes open. As I tried to get people to change lanes, no one would move. They said, no, that's okay. We want to be in Johnny's lane. We want his thought for the day. The store manager continued. It was a joy to watch Johnny delight the customers. I got a lump in my throat when one woman said, I used to shop at your store once a week, but now I come every time I go by because I just want to get Johnny's thought for the day. A few months later, the manager called me again. Johnny has transformed our store. Now when the floral department has a broken flower or an unused corsage, they find an elderly woman or a little girl and pin it on them. Everyone has had a lot of fun creating memories. Our customers are talking about us. They're coming back and bringing their friends. A wonderful spirit of service spread throughout the entire store, all because Johnny chose to make a difference. Johnny's idea wasn't nearly as innovative as it was loving. It came from his heart. It was real. That's what touched the customers, his peers, and those who read the story. And you know, what hit me the other day when Heather asked me to do this, actually it was at Danette's show. There was a lady that she said, she goes, you know what, Heather, she knows you. And I looked her up on Facebook, because you know, now we all have that tool to kind of, I'm going, she looks familiar, but I can't place her. So when she came, I said, you had introduced me, and I said, you know, Danette said you know me. And she goes, oh, well, I don't really know you. She says, I just remember you. And I thought that was interesting. So as the night went on, she sat down and she was talking. She goes, I have questions, and she was asking me questions. And she goes, do you know how I remember you? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, 17 years. Do you know how many people? You know what? I said no. I said I don't. She goes, well, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Now, mind you, that's a long time. I mean, for me, that's a long